What if I told you you weren't born to struggle with money? You were trained to? That sinking feeling you have every time your paycheck disappears before the end of the month, that quiet fear that you'll never truly get ahead. What if none of that is actually your fault? What if your brain was programmed in ways you never chose? Have you ever stopped to wonder why, no matter how hard you work, true financial freedom still feels out of reach? In this video, I'm going to show you something that might change everything. The invisible mental trap installed in your childhood that's still keeping you stuck today. By the end, you'll finally see the pattern, and more importantly, how to break free from it. If you were trained to be poor, who trained you? Was it your parents, who repeated the same warnings about money for years? Was it school, which taught you how to memorize facts but never how to manage a bank account? Or maybe it was the quiet rules spoken all around you. Don't talk about money. People like us can't afford that. Money is dangerous. These are the messages you absorbed before you even knew what they meant. But how deep does this go? And more importantly, how is it still controlling you right now without you realizing it? Let me tell you about Emily. She grew up in a small town, in a modest home where her parents worked hard every single day but never seemed to have enough. Every time she asked for something, new shoes, a field trip, anything extra, the response was always the same. We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Sometimes it came with a little laugh. Other times it came with tension and silence. As a kid, she didn't question it. She just learned. She learned that money was scarce, that wanting more meant being greedy, that security was only for those people, not for her, not for her family. Years later, Emily got a solid job. She was smart. She saved a little, even invested some here and there. But no matter what she earned, she always found a way to bring her bank account back down to just enough. She felt stuck, like something was holding her back. And here's the truth. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't incompetence. It was an invisible script playing in her mind. One that told her she didn't deserve more, that having more would make her unsafe, unworthy, disconnected. She was still living by rules written decades ago. She wasn't broken. She was simply following her programming. Most people never realized that their beliefs about money were given to them before they had any say in the matter. From birth to about 7 years old, your brain is in a highly absorbent state, almost hypnotic. You don't analyze or reject ideas. You just accept them. So when you repeatedly hear things like money is hard to come by or rich people are selfish, those phrases become part of your mental wiring. What's worse is that none of this was done to hurt you. The people around you were passing down what they believed would keep you safe. But what feels safe as a child can become destructive as an adult. School reinforced it by ignoring financial literacy altogether. You learned algebra and the Pythagorean theorem, but no one taught you how interest works, how debt traps are designed, how mindset governs financial outcomes. And because no one called it training, you never thought to question it. But that's exactly what it was. A quiet, consistent pattern of thoughts, fears, and limitations installed before you even knew they existed. You might think you're just bad with money, that you're disorganized, undisciplined, or unlucky. But what if those patterns are actually symptoms of how you were trained to think? Have you ever felt guilty for making more money than your parents did? Do you sabotage your progress right when things start going well? Do you avoid checking your bank account because you're afraid of what you'll see, even when you know it's not that bad? Maybe you've got savings, but you freeze at the thought of investing. You tell yourself you're playing it safe, but deep down, it's fear. You work hard, but constantly feel like you're starting over. You hear yourself saying things like, "I'm just not a money person," as if wealth is a personality trait instead of a skill set. These aren't random flaws. They're clues. Clues that your beliefs about money, beliefs formed when you were too young to defend yourself, are still shaping how you behave today. You don't need more willpower. You need a new lens. Your brain is built to protect you, not to make you rich. From an evolutionary standpoint, your mind prioritizes safety, familiarity, and conserving energy. So once a pattern is learned, even if it's harmful, your brain will cling to it because it recognizes it as normal. And that's why financial sabotage doesn't always look reckless. Sometimes it looks rational, turning down better-paying jobs because they don't feel right, not investing because it's too risky, sticking to a low-paying but stable job because your family taught you security means survival. This is your brain choosing familiarity over freedom. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman describes it as 2 systems. System 1 is fast, emotional, automatic. Your childhood training. System 2 is logical, slow, conscious. Your adult awareness. Most of your money decisions? System 1. That means you're running financial software written decades ago in a version of yourself that barely knew how the world worked. You're not failing because you're lazy or lack knowledge. You're failing because, deep down, your brain sees wealth as a threat to your identity. Until you update that identity, the system will keep resetting. Reprogramming your relationship with money doesn't start with a budget or a spreadsheet. It starts with awareness, and then with courage. The first step is to recognize the voices in your head and ask where they came from. When you hear yourself say, "I'll never be rich," or "I don't deserve that," pause. Ask, whose voice is that? Is it yours, or is it your father's fear, your school's silence, your community's limitations? Naming the belief disarms it, and once you see it, it loses power. The second step is to interrupt the script, even in the smallest ways. If your programming says, "People like me don't invest," then invest just $1. If you're used to spending everything you earn, set aside $5, not because it's a lot, but because it's a rebellion. These micro actions send a message to your subconscious. We're doing things differently now. Finally, rebuild your identity. Stop saying, "I'm not good with money." That's not a fact. It's a story, and stories can be rewritten. Tell yourself instead, "I'm learning how to build wealth. I handle money with clarity. I'm becoming someone future me will thank." You don't need a new bank account to change your life. You need a new belief about what's possible and who you were never meant to be. This is why so many smart, hardworking people stay broke. Not because they lack ambition, not because they're lazy, but because somewhere deep inside, they were trained to fear what they actually want. Wealth challenges the identity they were given. Success feels like betrayal, so they repeat the cycle, not realizing it's not about money at all. It's about permission. Permission to grow, permission to have, permission to become. You are not broken. You are functioning exactly how you were trained to, but now you see the code. And once you're aware of the code, you don't have to follow it anymore. Remember at the beginning, when I said you were trained to be poor? Now you know how. Now you see it wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility from this moment forward to rewrite the script. If this video hit something deep in you, it means you're ready to break the cycle. And you're not alone. Subscribe to this channel because this is just the beginning. Every video here is designed to help you reprogram your mind for financial clarity, emotional freedom, and personal power. Your old story got you here, but your new one can take you anywhere.